Hi, I'm Anumita. I'm at the iconic Institute of Engineering and Technology, Savoy Place, TCS Innovation Forum 2017. We had an excellent plenary in the morning, and we are just about to begin the Utilities Innovation breakout session around the digital transformation and utilities. Join us for the session with Xavier Mamo, who is the Director of Research and Development for EDF Energy. Xavier would be sharing his insights around how to make the connected home a reality.
So let's just start with a quick question. So connected home of tomorrow, let's say 2022. So we're discussing about scenarios and prediction. Anyone has any idea of what the connected home of 2022 would look like? No, I think it's a very difficult question. I agree. So I think one way to look at it is probably just to get 5 years back and just to think about what's available today, and that wasn't at the time. So connected thermostat, for example, we had known 5 years ago. Now it's roughly 1 million. You just discussed, Gabriel, about solar and PV installations. Pretty much no installations 5 years ago, and pretty much 1 million now. And of course, electric vehicles, so lots of communication around Tesla, but also voice assistants. We see a little bit more of new ways of interactions with the customer and artificial intelligence coming in. So we see lots of things coming in, and clearly being able to anticipate and to understand what a connected home could look like in 5 years from now is really a difficult question. So I guess to come back to the three points I just started with, we need to prepare for this uncertain future. And I guess to do that, the only certainty that we may have, there's going to be lots of innovations, there's going to be lots of breakthroughs and changes, and we need to adapt our organization to anticipate this future and help shape it. So that's why we've exactly with that idea in mind, we've started an initiative 1.5 years ago, which is this, the creation of this Blue Lab, which is really about focusing on customer needs for obviously our customer business and putting it at the center, but also creating that community and starting building up that culture by bringing people internally from different parts of the business to work together in one location, but also bringing in external partners as well. And TCS was one of the partners, but also startups and universities to work together and to help us understand how the world is changing and for us to take on this challenge. And then what's the objective is really to build innovation. So what we will do and what we are doing within this Blue Lab is really to test and learn, so not for the sake of looking at what new technology could bring, but really having in mind the customer benefits and customer needs in front of us and trying to apply that agile way of working by trying and learning. So that's really where we are in the space we are trying to operate. And so this was one initiative and really facing a real quick changing market condition. But the steps we are taking now is really to develop that further within the company and make sure we address that culture piece, because I completely agree with you. I think that's really central. And if we want to cope with the challenges we are seeing, it's the whole company that needs to move forward. So it was really a first step, and moving forward, we expand that as much as we can. So in that context, getting back to the customer and to our topic, so the connected home. So who wants a connected home? So we have some external studies that gives some elements or some highlights on what actually the customer needs are. And actually, it's not a niche market for young adults, geeky and just using skateboards. I think it can be far more extended, and needs and interest actually reach out to people that have a very busy life and that want ways to simplify those schedule in life. So mom with children or elderly people that want to get benefits of simplicity. So not just a niche market, but also in terms of who to work with and how to make that happen, it appears that two-thirds of, according to the study, two-thirds of the people questioned are keen to go with one single supplier and one point of entry. So I think it's interesting, and that's, so it's not EDF Energy studies, but it's good to see that, but we are also coming to the same conclusions when we are discussing with our customers. So that being said, what are the success factors we want to consider to make and to build that connected home? Well, it should be easy, simple, instant, extensible, so very easy to put together. It really needs to show value for the customer. I think that's really a very important and starting point. It needs to ensure privacy, so we've heard a little bit of privacy this morning, so I think it's really something that people seem to be quite attached to. And on top of that, it needs to be fun. And a very easy challenge you would recognize with me. So, but that's where we are going with. So if we now get back to the technology and just think about what kind of connected home we can get today. Well, I think there are, today, maybe 10 to 15 connected objects that every one of us can have into a home. So the smartphone and smart thermostats, but it's still limited. So if we look a little bit further, and some organization, and this is coming from the CES in Las Vegas, are forecasting more than 500 devices connected into the home by 2022. So we will go from a dishwasher that's connected, the fridge that's connected, potentially the pet that's connected. And I've learned this morning that actually it was already the case, so we're covered with that, but also Bluetooth, toothbrush, and airbrush as well that can be connected. So a lot of pretty much every object around us will be connected. And why is that? Because the cost of actually getting the device connected will be very close to zero, and that's really a strong driver. So you get the price of or the connected fridge for the same price as a fridge. So this is the driver. So, and along with these objects will come obviously IoT platforms, protocols, and not all compatible with each other. So unless you have a PhD in network communication, I mean, you will have a bit of a struggle to make that happen and work together. So if we get back, and we've seen this technology push, that's very strong, that is clearly happening. But if we get back to our customer, because at the end of the day, who is living into a home, it's real people. So how to reconcile these customer needs and this strong technology push that we see? So the approach we have taken at EDF Energy and through the Brew Lab is really to go step by step. I guess the first step is to get the basics right. So coming back to the factors, the success factors to build this connected home, is to have equipment and that are easy, simple, instant to connect, and really getting that right. And then step by step, as we have those foundations in place and we progress, we will need more orchestration and intelligence, and to move from actually devices connected to actually real services that are available for the customer and to provide an answer to the needs that have been identified. So the way we build that up is show me, help me, and do it for me within EDF Energy. So that's our stepping stone and way forward. So how we are progressing in this journey and moving forward. So I think one first, so the two examples that I'm keen to share with you in that process of building up those foundations of the connected home of 2022. First is voice assistant. So again, coming back to this process of Brew Lab, I mean, this is, and there's a bit of a small video that I will try to play after that. But it was really the result of an experiment, proof of concept that actually started with the identification of one new potential interesting product by the R&D team. and trying to assess the potential of this new object when it was not obviously available in the UK, to see how it could help in facilitating the interaction. So it's just an example, and so we were the first energy company at the launch of Amazon Echo to provide the service, and other than that, I think it was really interesting to see also how people reacted to that, and actually the fun part of it came out as some of the comments. So I think there are ways to go through those, let's say, to those success factors that we've covered earlier on, and making a slight different experience for the customer using the connected home. The other example I would like to illustrate is also working as partnership with a small startup from Manchester, Hose, that's really focused on using sensors within homes and also smart meter data in order to be able to identify patterns within the consumption, and actually not really patterns, but more interestingly, when there is a change in the pattern, and especially that's for elderly people that are living on their own. So when there is a change in routine, and that's not anticipated, it can alert family, and that's living further away, and enable an action and see if everything is fine. So I think that's also an interesting way, and another of our foundation to make services that make sense to the customer and answer to their needs. I'm going to finish with just one slide, because obviously I'm representing research and development, so I think it's very good to bring in real case applications and services on the market, but also to make sure we understand how the technology is evolving and how to make the most benefit of it. So I think all those topics have been touched on earlier on this morning, but that's really an important mission for us to understand how we can use that best, what artificial intelligence, data analytics, bots and voice, what virtual reality or blockchain can bring to fulfill those customer needs in the context of the success factor we've touched on, and also to make sure it answers to some of the needs and creates value for the customer. Thank you very much.
Do you find in the two geographies that EDF work in, there's any differences in the take-up between the smart devices, between France and maybe the UK?
Yeah, I think the contexts are slightly different. The regulation, so you've mentioned that, I think it's both the way the sector is organized, but also how we operate in both countries is slightly different. So we, as an R&D organization in the UK, but also EDF having strong R&D capabilities as part of the group in France, we're trying to make links, but also so in both ways. One way being to obviously make the UK market benefits from what we can be developed in terms of devices or new services in France, but also what we can experiment, such as the Alexa proof of concept, for example, and what's working, what we get out of it, how could we bring that back into France. So I think there are links. It's not always easy, I guess, because of availability of products and development of technology, and also the way people are willing to keep up with it, let's say. But we're trying to get that broader perspective in order to make it benefit both ways, actually.
Just a question.
Yes.
You mentioned the Blue Lab.
Yep.
Have you got many other colours? I mean, is this lab just focuses on a connected home, and these are done from different labs? I just wondered how does that work?
Okay. Yeah. So actually, if I just be very broad in terms of the business within EDF Energy in the UK, we have generation on one side and customer application on the other side. So the Blue Lab is an innovation accelerator for our customer business. So it's connected home is clearly a priority, but we are also looking at new applications for B2B markets, for further B2C or any other. We have 5 key priority, let's say, but that's really to address that. we are building up the same cultural change within the other part of the business. So could it be nuclear, more generic, more thermal generation, or renewable? But the context is a bit different. The market and the condition of operation are different as well. But I'm really pushing to make sure we share this culture of change, of positive change for innovation, because I'm convinced that's the way to be more agile in a sense, but also to anticipate and potentially bring in some new ideas, new product, new services for the benefits of customer at the end of the day. So this is one advanced, let's say, initiative within the company, but we are trying to push everything at the same level. Thank you.
So just one general question. Companies like Apple, Amazon, they're great at providing solutions to problems we didn't even know we had.
Yeah.
How much of it do you think is kind of vendor-driven versus consumer-driven?
In the context of energy,
Are the customers saying, I want this?
Yeah.
Or are the vendors providing solutions to problems the customers didn't know they had?
Yeah. But I think, could be both. I think the first thing, and you touched on some of the debates that we have today. So I think we just need to make sure we have, let's say, customer not only focused on price. I think it's very important. And it's interestingly coming back to the parallel between the UK and France. It's a completely different story in France because of the regulations. So it's an important aspect of it. But we just need to make sure there is value for the price, in a sense, and helping building up new services and extracting that value to make sure the needs of the customers that are evolving and that we need to understand and to support are covered. So I think that's one thing, and that's really addressing, let's say, the existing needs. After that, when it comes to disruptions that have the potential to completely shift the relationship between the supplier, the customer, or the interactions between the customers, there are lots of things about blockchain, for example, applications that can enable a completely different way of trading electricity, for example. That's where the market doesn't exist, and where we need also to be able to address that to see if it actually creates real benefits, and then how to facilitate, make that happen. So I think it's both worlds, but the first priority is just making sure the value is there and benefits the customer. And then we'll see how we explore new markets.